All right, now that Lil'Jordan Humphrey is back in Mile High, we've got some stuff to talk about. Is there a new offensive game plan gearing up for the Denver Broncos? I believe so. We're going to talk a little bit about the J.K. Dobbins injury update and why he's probably not going to play against the Kansas City Chiefs. And then Bo Nix, he went 0 dark 30 like LeBron James did. So, Broncos Country, welcome into the Broncos Breakdown by Chat Sports. My name is Moose. And like I said, the most recent Broncos roster move that we have seen was the signing of Lil'Jordan Humphrey. There was a lot of people that got down in the comment section of our last video, and they said how much they loved this move. I also really like this move. And not just because he offers an extra element with the 50-50 balls and some great hands and in the blocking scheme, but he wants to be a Denver Bronco. Mike Kliss talked to his agent, Jimmy Gold, and basically Jimmy Gold told Mike that he jumped at the chance, Lil'Jordan did, to get back home to Mile High. And I think that's amazing. I really do think that that shows what kind of culture Sean Payton has cultivated here in Mile High. It's a brotherhood. He wants to be back in Denver. But we're not going to get all soapy, mushy, gushy. What does it mean from an X's and O's perspective? What does this mean for the Broncos offense? Well, let's start with the wide receiver room, because now you get Marvin Mims back, right? Lil'Jordan Humphrey is back in the blocking scheme, which means nice little opening for wide receiver 4 right now. And that's my guy, Pat Bryant. We'll talk about him in just a second. Now, what you do need to know is that Bo Nix has been excellent with Humphrey. This, by the way, is Bo Nix, his stats with Lil'Jordan Humphrey every time he's completed a pass to Lil'Jordan, which is 11 games. So in the 11 games that he's completed a pass to Lil'Jordan Humphrey, Bo is 68% completion percentage, 271 total yards a game, 23 total touchdowns, 4 picks with a 103 passer rating and a record of 7-4. Booyah. Like I said, 11 games with a pass completed to Lil'Jordan. So if you feed Lil'Jordan at least once, the numbers indicate that Bo Nix is really, really good. It also opens up the passing game, like I said, for Pat Bryant. I'm expecting his best game yet. Watch him get fed this Sunday. Maybe 6-7 receptions. 6-7. Maybe 6-7 receptions. Maybe 70 yards, 1 touchdown. All I know is that Sean Payton came out and compared this guy to Michael Thomas. Well, Michael Thomas was the ultimate chain mover. That was the slant king. He's not going to break it over the top. But what you do want to see from Pat Bryant is that ability to move the chains. What's the one thing the Broncos have failed to do this entire season offensively? Consistently move the football in the first half. Second half, we've made adjustments. We move the football, specifically in the run game. But in the first half, it's almost like Sean Payton's looking to see what the defensive coordinators are going to do. I need that to be bypassed. I need you to come out swinging, Sean. Get this guy involved. Get Mims involved. Get Troy Franklin, and for the love of God, get Courtland Sutton involved. Because the fate of the Denver Broncos starting now in the playoffs is upon us. If you want to take over that number 1 overall seed, if you want to buy, if you want home field advantage, you've got to continue to win football games. And yes, it's great that we're 8-2. However, the hardest part of our schedule now comes up. So the importance of feeding your wide receivers, Courtland Sutton, Troy Franklin, Mims, and now Pat Bryant, is even more important than it's ever been. And speaking of which, I have a question for you. If you're watching during our live show, do me a favor. Let me know in the live chat right now. Who leads the Broncos in receptions on Sunday? I'm still going to say that it's Courtland Sutton. I have a feeling that Bo's going to be looking for him a lot. But if you have a different answer, or if you want to match my answer, get it down in the live chat, or if you're watching during our regularly scheduled programming, let me know in the comment section down below. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about J.K. Dobbins. This is bad news. J.K. Dobbins, notably, is most likely not going to play. I'll break down what Sean Payton had to say about it and a little bit more information about what you need to know regarding his injury when it comes to IR. Now, before I do that, going to tell you about my friends over at Prize Picks. You know, the weather might be changing, but the feeling of being right never gets old, and that's why I personally love Prize Picks, where, by the way, you can get $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. Did you know you can now follow other Prize Picks players directly on the app and copy their lineups in just one click, whether it is a friend, a celebrity partner, or just someone whose picks you like? Hit the follow button, check out every lineup they create in the brand new feed tab over on Prize Picks. I made a lineup for Thursday Night Football tonight. It's going to be a blowout. The Patriots are going to kick the absolute you-know-what out of the Jets. However, I have Breece Hall with the less on the rushing yards. I've got Drake May in the brand new stack feature, more on the passing touchdowns and on the passing yards. Yours can look like mine. It doesn't have to. All you have to do is download the Prize Picks app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it is good to be right. It is reasonably assumed now that J.K. Dobbins is not going to play against the Chiefs. He hasn't officially been ruled out yet because Sean Payton has not ruled him out yet. However, I think based off of all of the hints that we're getting, some notable stuff from the players themselves, it sounds like J.K. is not going to play. So now you've got running back by committee. And like I said, people were asking Sean Payton all this week about the status of J.K. Dobbins, and he would not provide us a decision. And that decision is not to play him this Sunday. That decision is to, do we put him on short-term IR? There's a lot of people that believe you should. Why? Because you're going to need him down the stretch of the playoffs. At this point, you've got to start thinking long-term rather than the week-to-week. So if he does go out on IR, it kind of could be a good thing. Now, would I much rather have J.K. Dobbins playing? Obviously. That's a no-brainer. But now it's time for RJ Harvey to really show his worth. Do you remember when I said at the beginning of the season, let's go back to August for a minute. I had said there's going to come a point at the second half of the season, whether this is week 9, 10, 11, 12, etc., where J.K. Dobbins is not going to be available and RJ Harvey is going to have to be the lead back. This is the moment. First real test for RJ Harvey. You're going to see 12-plus carries this coming Sunday, my guy. So now you got to get out there. You got to show why you're a second-round pick. And remember, I don't think that RJ Harvey has shined away from a moment like this. I don't think he should shine away from a moment like this. We've seen really great stuff from him this year already. Number one, he's got even better hands than I originally thought. He's kind of like that stereotypical scat back, that Alvin Kamara type. He's got great hands out in the flat. You can continue to feed him. That doesn't mean you take away that part of his game this Sunday. But he's also really excellent with the ball in his hands. I know that when this guy gets open space, he's just a little bullet. Like he's just weaving his way through holes. Like he's really, really fantastic. And he finds the end zone a lot. But what's the most important thing about his running style? He's a beautiful outside zone runner. The one area that he's got to get better at, especially when it comes to his play coming up this later this season and in the next season, is he's got to be better north to south. That power element, that power back style that the old school running backs had, that's not quite his game. But the numbers don't lie. He's having a pretty decent rookie season. The dude's got almost 400, yards from scrimmage. Only 50 carries, so he's got 75 total touches and almost 400 yards. And there's the most important stat down below. 6 total touchdowns. Now we're talking. So your running back situation this coming Sunday is a lot of RJ Harvey against the Chiefs. Tyler Badie is going to have to slide in as that pass protector and as a third down back. So expect to see Tyler Badie a bunch this Sunday. And little highlight reel Jaleel. A couple plays and a couple packages to confuse KC. I think so. This could be the game that Jaleel says, I'm still a valuable member of this team. And remember, he's only had 1 carry this entire season. I understand why Sean Payton hasn't fed him. But at the same time, now's your opportunity to really find your value and your worth on this team. Before we continue on with Bo going 0 dark 30, Little TV timeout. Help us hit 48,000 subscribers. Need 112 left. This is an amazing accomplishment, my friends. Can you believe that when I took over this channel, I didn't even know if we could hit 50,000? But here we are, just basically 2,000 subs away. So do me a favor, if you love Denver Broncos, fresh, entertaining, engaging content, hit that subscribe button today. Let's talk Bo. Because ultimately, we could talk about the running game. We could talk about what these running back cut-by committees now need to do. But ultimately, the game falls on the shoulders of 10. And Bo Nix did something interesting. And you might look at this as innocuous. You could look at this and say, this is not something that's even newsworthy, Moose. But to me, it absolutely was. Bo went 0 dark 30. What does that mean? He deleted his social media accounts. Here's what he said about it. They asked him about it. They said, what was that all about there, Bo? Why'd you delete them? He said, we make the entertainment business a lot bigger than what it is, and we forget that everybody's out here having a good time, having fun, doing the best that they can. For me, it's quite simple. I delete and deleted my social media. I don't have it. So unless somebody says it to my face, I don't really hear about the criticism. And nobody's ever bold enough to say it to your face. I don't get on social media. Now, that could sound like it's a defensive statement from Bo, but it really isn't. What he's telling you is that no matter what happens with this team, no matter what happens in my game, I could go out and throw for 5 touchdowns and no picks, and everybody is still going to have a problem with the way I play football. So I don't even engage in it. The only thing that matters, and he goes on to say it, is winning Super Bowls, winning championships. And that's exactly what your quarterback needs to say. I've always said Bo is amazing at the microphone. He's got all the intangibles you want. But there's another player that I noticed did this throughout his entirety of his career, and J.O.D., producer J.O.D., is very familiar with this guy's game. LeBron James has done this literally every single year since he's been in the NBA. He goes 0 dark 30 because when it's time to lock in, LeBron locks in. And that's what I think Bo is doing with this most recent move. We're going to be live for Broncos versus Chiefs this Sunday. So, if you made it to the very end of the episode, give me your FKCs down in the comment section. Make sure you hit that bell icon. Never miss a time that we go live or when we post a video. And as always, Broncos Country, a reminder to subscribe to the channel, like today's video. A mile-high salute to you. Be cool.